Everybody is currently talking about this unit in Grand Summoners, and so it's time for me to give my opinion on this unit. Now, I'm going to list the pros and cons, and I'm going to say should you pity or not at the end of the video. Now, starting off with the pros. He's light human. There's a lot of good human units. There's a lot of good light units, so he'll fit right in to those teams. He's got 3 5-star slots. You know, you don't get that typically on your GS units, so a huge advantage. He's got 100 arts per wave. Also don't get that for your average GS unit. This is going to help cycle his super arts, which I'll get into later. In a second. He's got true arts. He gets 50% super crit rate and then 50% damage res down for 50 seconds. This is a huge uptime, so this is very good. And then here's the big thing about his kit. 200% light damage to your entire team, stacking for 45 seconds, and you get a 50 art gauge payback for your team. This is huge. This is going to be why everybody is thinking about pitting him. And then on top of that, he also just gives everybody 30 art gauge every wave. He's got 100% crit rate in his kit. And then his true up and down here, he gets 20 arts every wave. Now, he also refreshes the equip CT, which means this is 10,000. This is pretty good for wave clearing, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that would be very, very useful. And the fact that he has 100% crit rate, just passively, this is gonna be very nice for just cycling it. And yeah, nice for wave killing. Then, when you put it all together, right, he can get up to 150 art gauge per wave. That's huge. I feel like this unit is going to be a mines unit. And the reason why I say that is because he gets 100 art gauge on his skill. You know, 30 art gauge to have your entire team every wave. You're going to want to run him on multiple wave missions in the game. And mines is the most prominent one that has multiple waves. You see that with Smiyu, we see that with Jay, we see that with Saito. All 3 of those units benefit from having multiple missions, and all 3 of those are really good in mines. This guy is going to fit in there into that role. Now, his downsides. I'm going to list his downsides here. First of all, he has very, very long animations. This is bad because in mines, you want to kill those Teridoses as fast as possible. Those Teridoses hit hard. If you can't kill those waves fast enough, you're going to die before you can even make it to the boss. And because this guy's animations are super slow, you're going to have to find another way around to kill those waves without this guy. So he's going to have to get carried a little bit in order to perform in mines. The other thing is his super arts is magic, but the rest of his kit's physical. His tripping down here is made for physical damage. This isn't going to benefit his super arts damage at all. It'll benefit his equip nuking for wave clearing, but his super arts isn't actually going to benefit from that. Now the other thing is, you have to realize 2 waves equals 1 super arts. Assuming he gets 150 arts per wave, it's going to take 2 waves for him to super art. Smiyu can true art every wave, and she has, I believe, an 80% damage buff. So she can give 160 damage up in 2 waves. This guy can give 200 damage up in 2 waves. When you think about it, that's only a 40% gap. Smiyu is much more versatile with physical comps. This guy is much more niche, tied to light comps. I think that's a fair argument. Now, when you look at light comps, the most meta right now, you have the new Saitama, you've got the Kenshin, and then you've got Stargard Liza and Ilya. You know, those are all human, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, those are all human. So, you got mono human there, but thing is, Stargard Liza and Ilya are magic, but they have long animations. Kenshin and Saitama have pretty quick animations, but they're physical. This guy's magic. How is fitting a magic attacker and a physical attacker together gonna work? It's gonna be a little bit more trickier than usual of just making a full physical team. Right now in mines, the team that most people are using is like Hoka, HK Roy, Saito, and Smiyu. And that's because Smiyu works so well with Saito. Saito benefits Smiyu a little bit, and you know, vice versa with HK Roy and Hoka at the end. And it just does a bunch of damage altogether. Now, with this team, I honestly feel like this unit is going to shine the most with Nonon. People with Nonon can stack arts per wave as well if you're running mono light teams. So, and she's magic as well. So it'll be really interesting to see how this guy works with Nonon. I feel like that's going to be an absolute powerhouse of a nuke comp for any mine stage. And yeah, Omega Oldius is going to get fried from now on. Now, that being said, I just feel like the comparison between this unit and Summer Mew isn't as far as people are thinking, and so everyone's jumping on the conclusion that this unit is a must pity. And I'm not saying they're bad by any means. I do think they're a very, very good unit, but are they worth pitying? Now, I look at this from a free-to-play player perspective. A lot of other people who are willing to spend money on the game and, like, you know, get whatever the best damage dealer, or like not even the best damage dealer, just like niche units that will only work for like a few missions in the game, but you won't use them all the time. I tend to not say that they're must pities. If I had a good example of that, I guess I could say Momon. Now, Momon I ended up pitying, but that's purely because there was nothing really going on at the time, and he was a really, really good sub DPS. Do I still use him today? Yes, but not as much, because we have Summerin and Luvia, and we've got Hoka, and we have HK Roy for nuke damage buffers, and, you know, he's now collecting dust a little bit more in my box, even though I pitied him. Now, I'm not saying he's bad, I'm just saying that he's has not as many uses as units I would say that you could pity for. I feel like the next best pity unit is going to be Original Witch Celia. She has 100% status element resistance for a full human comp team, and that I feel like is going to be game breaking for a lot of hard content in the game. I tend to focus on hard content and what's the next unit that's going to make hard content easier. So like Amiya, for instance, you know, Hoka, another unit like Haruto. Those I feel like are must pity units. Now when it comes to just like sub DPSs, or just, you know, mines units, or just nuke units, I tend to not say they're must pities. Now, the most recent exception was probably Saito, because Saito is just game breaking overall. But, you know, you're not going to get another Saito for a while. And that's kind of my opinion on this unit. I say it's up to you if you want to pity or not. For me, I don't think he's a must pity. I do think he's a very, very good unit. But is he worth 1,500 crystals? I don't know about that. It's up to you. But yeah, that's my opinion on this unit.